Hey everyone, welcome back to Data Over Coffee, where Ramon and I sit together and discuss data topics and interesting trending topics on during our casual conversations over coffee. Today we are talking about art, the art of storytelling, and when we talk about data or data analyst, it is very important that we present dashboards and reports that make sense to other people. And this is where storytelling comes into picture, right? You have your data, you have your pie charts, you have your graphs and everything. But when the report goes to the stakeholders, what does it actually convey? This is what storytelling is. And thanks to Ramon will be sharing his tips and insights and more into what storytelling is and how he looks at data storytelling and how he ensures that when the data is presented to the wider audience, the story is conveyed as it is meant to be. So without further ado, welcome Ramon. How are you?
Thank you, man. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode, as just Arjun say. I think this is one of the most exciting topics for me because it's something that I enjoy since I joined data.
Yeah.
Because when I study data, I thought that most of my job it will be doing dashboards. However, I found it out that it was a lot of untidy up data.
Yeah.
So I felt that it was a bit of a scam working as a data analyst because they say that I thought they will be doing dashboard and so many other things, but then I found that it's a lot of data cleansing. And within the time, I found that this data storytelling is super important. But for you to find a role that you only do this specifically, there are not many organizations that have those roles in places. Right. I will come back to you on that shortly. But before to jump on that, I want you to tell us how was your Diwali, because we were close from Diwali, which is quite an important celebration from Indian community. So I just want to recognize that and also embrace your culture.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much
Tell
for
us
that.
About your Diwali celebration.
Yeah, actually nothing much for us. We just celebrated Diwali at home. So my partner and I, we sort of cleaned the house a little bit, which is a Diwali tradition in India. So we do a deep clean of our house every Diwali, and it is called the Diwali Safai or Diwali cleaning. But so we did that, and then we made some my partner loves cooking, so she made very delicious food and sweets, and and we enjoyed that. In the evening we did some prayers, and then we went to a friend's place to celebrate Diwali, and then have a shared dinner there, and then we came back. It was very late, but it was, all in all, it was a very good Diwali. And then in between we talked to our families back in India, wished them Diwali, and yeah, that was just the usual. Didn't do much, didn't do too much. And my partner and I, we are both not into firecrackers, which is associated with Diwali, but we don't like it. I personally, so for me, it's because I had a dog back in India, and firecrackers and dogs don't go well together. The dogs get disturbed with the sound, so it's not good for animals. And I would humbly request everybody who is listening to this podcast that if you have pets, or even if you don't, try and go for alternative ways to celebrate Diwali than firecrackers.
Wow.
So one way that I used to do back in India was the light candle balloons. Do you remember those candle balloons that are usually we usually seen during Chinese New Year or other, right? So you just burn a candle and then it lifts up and it goes in the air. So that is one thing that you can do, that I used to do back in India when we celebrated Diwali. But yeah, not a big fan of firecrackers, so didn't do firecrackers. Never do.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that because I heard that it's quite important, the fireworks.
Yeah,
you guys in this time.
I mean, initially, it was okay to do firecrackers and celebrate that way, but I think because even in India, the pollution has gone so bad that firecrackers only add up to the pollution.
Yeah.
So that is one bad thing that comes out of it, and also, like I said, it creates a lot of noise pollution as well, which is not good for your pets. So
Yeah.
if you consider that as well, then it's I would personally I prefer staying away from firecrackers, but it's personal choices. I can only request.
I understand, man. Yeah, I think there's something the old traditions they has their
Yeah,
goods and bads, but I think as you say, it's up to everyone. And yeah, I can tell that it's quite disturbing for pets during
yeah, true.
the New Year as well.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I don't have pets, but I understand that they suffer a lot because they kind of ear system that is quite good, so it's
Yes.
quite easy for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing that Diwali story. I think that everyone, uh, I have been lucky to have met the Indian culture living here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Back in Chile, we don't have much Indian immigration, so I
Mm.
never met any Indian person before. So
Yeah.
I'm really lucky to have many colleagues who are Indians and I also have
Mm.
friends that are
Mm.
Indians as well. So I'm pretty glad that I met people like you and others. So
Oh, thanks.
happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
No
Did you
worries.
do anything much on Diwali, or just
No, we don't.
a
It's
normal
not
day for you?
something that we celebrate. As a
Right. Okay.
Chilean, the only thing that we celebrate and we come all together
Mm.
is mainly the Independence Day, which is
Right.
the 18th of September, which
Mm.
already go,
Mm.
and also Christmas and New Year. Those are
Okay.
the three celebrations mainly that we celebrate.
Right.
But when the time comes, I will introduce you more in the traditions. Okay?
Sure. Sure. Would love to. We will
Yeah, yeah.
looking forward to that.
All right, thank you, man. Now let's jump into the topic because this is a nice copy to have, but at the same time, we need to speak about data. So
Definitely.
back to data. And I was mentioned to you that storytelling with data is something that I learned since I started to work in data.
Yeah.
And it was something really cool because I always love the design
Mm.
in terms of how the things you put it in a certain way to make it look special.
Yeah.
And even though I don't know if you remember those magazines, you remember that we used to have a lot of magazines, for example, a cars magazine,
Yeah.
that they
Yeah. Yeah.
put the car
I
in a
used to
certain
collect
way.
those.
Yeah, any
Yeah.
kind of magazine. But
Yeah.
nowadays it's more hard to see them. But
Yes.
for example, in the magazine, you used to have the header, you used to have the stories. I remember they used to have those columns with they present the narrative and then they
Yeah.
put a picture on the bottom. Those
Right.
kind of things, those magazines are always been interesting. How someone convey in a certain way to make the things meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And when I jump into data, I forgot about that. But then when I jump into data, I found that there is a way how we can create more meaningful dashboards.
Yeah.
And I read one book called Storytelling with Data
Mm-hmm.
from called Nas Balmer. I have the name here. It's a bit hard for me to say. It just it's called Nas Balmer. Is a t- when somebody speak about storytelling with data, I will straight away recommend this book. Or if it's
Right.
someone really likes data visualization, this is one of the top books. So
Okay.
storytelling with data is the name of it. So here it exposes five or six main topics that I
Mm-hmm.
will cover in them now. But at
Right.
the same time, storytelling with data is that how we can, even using a spreadsheet, we can present data in a meaningful way. For
Mm.
example, what about if we have 24 columns of data and we need to distribute it between teams? What
Correct.
about if we have five, all right, columns instead of 24? And
Mm.
what about those five we just make in bold font, just one
Yeah.
column? That it will tells you which one is important. So
Mm.
the one of the things that I have been learning a lot with the storytelling with data is the less. If everything is important, nothing is important. So
Correct.
just trying to find what is important. For
Yeah.
example, If we're speaking about how many customer been stopping to working with us, or for example, the churn rate, which is common rate that we found it out in the KPIs when we generate for companies. The churn rate means that the customer who stopped to be with us, or for
Yeah.
example, they stop the subscription or whatever kind of service do you provide. When those customers leave, you can find the rates,
Yeah.
the churn rate. But
Yeah.
in this dashboard, when someone else say like, it would be nice for you to make a dashboard like this, the first thing that will come to my mind is to put a nice header saying that churn rate report.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
then in the second line, I will make a small description of the dashboard. For example, this dashboard represents the customer who left this company. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Something that anyone who can see it at the first sight can tell what this dashboard is about.
Yeah.
Have you seen that sometimes there are certain dashboard or sometimes visualization that takes you a while to understand what it's about?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's kind of annoying at the same time because you want to find the answers within 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And
100%.
this is another rule that I will mention to you shortly, which is the 330-300. And then when you are able to create a dashboard, for example, for the churn rate for the customers who are leaving the company, coming back to that, then we leave some spaces on purpose. Because have you seen when you read a newspaper, there are certain spaces in blank?
Yeah.
Actually, those spaces are especially designed for you to take a break in your reading.
Okay.
And in the dashboard, you can do the same.
Right.
However, someone comes and say, okay, you left a blank space. Why do you don't put the cell from the last year there? Yeah, but this is not really related with the kind of dashboard we are trying to build or the kind of visualization.
Yeah.
And so the thing that you ended up with a dashboard with 20 different on a small bar charts, pie charts, and so many other things. And then so many other narratives, tables, and then so it's so much clutter there that you cannot recognize what is important. So back into the first concept that I say, when everything is important, nothing is important.
Yeah. It's
So-
like less is more.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
because you want to combine to one message, as you
Yeah,
just mentioned
correct.
before. It's like we want to know how many customers are leaving the company, and within this, we can say like every month we'll be losing 2 to 3%.
Yeah.
And if we found a way how we can show that in the most easy way, that will be us completely win. And then we can break it into categories, like this product category, this product category, this product category. But how you can find or make something that it could be something really nice to watch and really gentle to your eyes. Because to get it to saying that, the color combination is so important. Because have you seen those graphs that they put super bright color?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
all the lines are super bright colors, but you
Yeah,
doesn't know which one is important.
I hate those.
Yes,
I
because-
always try and go with the theme of the dashboard, so it sort of complements the elements complement each other with the colors. Even if there is a pie chart or a donut chart that is showing different segments of the KPI, then I try to make it follow the same color palette so that it doesn't look weird and it doesn't look like somebody played holy with it. By holy I mean someone played with the colors and they just added some random colors without even a thought going into it. But Ramon, before we continue, there's one question that I wanted to ask you here, which is, when you're designing a dashboard, right? When you're designing a report, what drives that design? Is it the KPI that you want to deliver, the message that you want to deliver, that drives your how the dashboard will look like? Or is it the audience that you're creating the dashboard for? Will that drive the way that you design the dashboard? How does it work for you?
I think that the two parts are important. The audience, of course,
Mm.
because, for example, if we are presenting the same situation for the churn report, it's not the same report that we'll be doing for the operational team or
Yeah.
the sales team, because the sales team could drive that we need to start to sell more of those items. However, the operational team, it could say we need to start to produce less of those items.
Mm.
So it could be the driver, it could be slightly different. And in
Right.
these cases, the thing that I do, I create different dashboards. And so if the audience is different to consume the same dashboard, it's better to create two separate dashboards. I know
Okay.
that could sound like a double work, but
Yeah.
it's really important to recognize uh, who is your audience, and then
Mm.
you show you're showing pretty much exactly the same, but
Yeah.
for operational, there are certain elements that are more important, and
Mm.
for the sales team, it could be important. It could be completely the whole same data set.
Mm.
However, the way how I present to both of them
Yeah.
is tend to differ.
Yeah. The KPIs will differ between the two
Even though they could
audience.
be the same KPI, but in the drill down, in
Mm.
the elements that I start to show, it will be tend to differ. Or for
Okay.
example, a line chart, it could be more meaningful for the sales team.
Right.
However, a bar chart, it could be more meaningful for the operational team. But
Mm.
before to jump into the data, one thing that I've been no arguing. I just there are people have different ideas. But
Yeah.
for example, if it's someone say that I would like to understand which is the product that we sell more. No, sorry, one step back. We would like to create a dashboard from where we analyze the kind of products that we sell most. So the
Right.
first thing that I will do, I will just grab a pen and paper and try to design a dashboard
Mm.
which element should have to be able to answer this question.
Right.
So the first thing is to define the question, really
Mm-hmm.
good, narrow it down, have meetings with your stakeholders,
Mm.
define the question. What is the question that we're trying to answer? All right.
Yeah.
So this is so key for the storytelling with data, because if you are not able to design the question that you're trying to answer within the dashboard, it's
Yeah.
really hard to know what you are looking for, because finally, if you have access to all the data from the company,
Mm.
which things that you start to pull. You can pull from so many other places. And then the other thing that is important for you to know is that which is the results that I want to get. And then you start to create a sort of like a draft from your dashboard. And within this draft, I tend to present it before to do all the development. I
Mm.
present one or two options.
Yeah.
We discuss it. We are agree with that, and then I start to do all the ETL, data transformation, pipelines, on all the development. Because, for example, if I rush to do all the data that I think that is the one that we need, and I
Mm.
do all the development, then I present the dashboard, and someone say, "It's not what we're looking for," and then you've been working 3 months, because
Correct.
when I start to work in dashboard, I thought that a Power BI takes me 3 days to do it. But
Mm.
then that I found that there are certain projects that they can last for 6 months,
Mm.
because on the complexity of the data, the aggregations, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I found that it's better work hard into answer the questions, even
Yeah.
though when the data doesn't even exist. So that means that we need to come back and even create process to pull that data off from the
Yeah.
system, where we need to create work with the app development team to pull certain columns that doesn't exist.
Mm.
But the aim is to answer the question that we start with.
Right.
If the data doesn't exist, we need to raise the hand and say the data is not available,
Mm.
and this is what we can do, or this is what we can do. But it's important those iteration process, because if we think that we can only work with the data available, so we will never fulfill the business needs, because
Correct.
sometimes we just want to present something and
Yeah.
with the data available. However, we're not fulfilling the business need. But this is more about what we do with data. So let me come back to storytelling with data. So the 6 concepts that I mentioned to you before is that firstly is to understand the context. So
Mm.
as you mentioned, who is the audience?
Yeah.
what is the idea that we're trying to resolve, all right?
Mm.
So then the second one, it will be find the appropriate display, which will be the bar charts, the
Right.
charts, the 3D pies, anything that you want to use
Mm.
to be able to show the data, all right? As I mentioned to you before, less the better. So if
Mm.
we can avoid 3D
Yeah.
visualization, you remember when Power BI, oh sorry, when Excel released those 3D
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
charts, everyone got
3D. Yeah.
nuts
Yeah.
with 3D charts. But
Yeah.
then you find it out that, for example, if you're presenting a 3D chart
Mm.
of a pie chart,
Mm.
and then you have 10 categories, and then you put that in angle, it's so
Mm.
hard to read it. You cannot
Yeah.
tell which one is the best. I mean, which
Correct.
one is the bigger and the smallest. So uh, clarity over complexity is so
Mm.
important when you shows the visuals. And then text. Text is a kind of visualization as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel that bar chart is a visualization, but putting the right headers, the
Mm.
right paragraph that
Yeah.
explain you, it can tell so much more. So that is a great tool that you need to remember to use. Okay.
Mm.
So the third concept that is important for you when you create storytelling with data is eliminate the clutter.
Mhm.
Anything that is not needed, you just take it off. It's like I
Right.
think as a designer, as a Cole say in her book, it's like if you are designing I don't know, a speaker,
Mhm.
and you see this stuff, this is really handy for me to take it to speaker.
Yeah.
However, the handing, if you're just listening to us, I have a speaker on my hand, and someone decided to put a hander there.
Mm.
However, if someone said, you know what, we need 300 on this speaker, but then
Yeah.
probably they won't be used, so reduce it to one. So the less, the better.
Yeah.
Reduce it to the all important things that you need. So think as a designer is so important. So when you design the dashboard, just put the elements that are strictly required and necessary to fulfill the answer in the question. Okay. So after that, we have draw attention where you want it, which
Mhm.
means use the colors and bold and thick lines accordingly. For example, if you are having a line chart and you have 10 lines with different information,
Yeah.
which one is important? You can, at the beginning, I used to say, yeah, no, all of them, they're important, but it's always one or two, which are the key elements.
Yeah.
So those two key elements, those two lines, I either put in a different color, all of them I put in sort of like a gray scale,
Yeah.
and then I put one or two with thick lines or thick different colors.
To
Because
highlight them.
finally, yeah, for example, if we're looking for the results from the swimming competition and the Olympics,
Right.
we will only want to see the top three. So what
Mm.
is the point to put the 100 competitors that they went to the Olympics if you
Yeah.
just want to go and see the three main positions? So even though that you can put all the rest in gray, because
Mm.
in that way you can see like a sort of like a trend, and then
Mm.
you can see how those top three separate from the rest.
Yeah.
But be mind to put it just those in different colors.
Yeah. Also, I thought of another example here can be if we are showing different years in a graph. So, for example, x-axis has months, January, February, March. Y-axis has say, I don't know, number of or amount of sales we did, and then we have 10 lines to show the last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So only the current year's line can be in a color or a highlighted line, and the others can maybe in grayscale or in a subtle muted color, so that the current year comes out to actually see the performance compared to. So we still are showing the last 10 years of sales, but we are also at the same time highlighting the current year and seeing how it's going compared to the other 9, right? So that can be another use case, right? Yes.
Then the fifth point that Cole suggests in her book is think like a designer. It's coming back to the thing that I just mentioned before, is apply basic design principles like alignment.
Yeah.
Alignment is so important, especially for us who are have obsessive compulsive
OCD.
transform.
Yeah. Me.
Also,
Yeah. I have that. I have
yeah.
that.
But at the same time, it's quite important because if it's someone, for example, you have a bar chart like this, then
Yeah.
another like this, and then
Yeah.
another like this, and you see that this is something off. And even those small millimeters,
Yeah. Yeah.
there are people
Yeah.
who take attention to it. And for me, it's also is when someone show me something for peer review, I can see like this is slightly off,
Yeah.
and then say like, but what is the point?
No,
If you
it annoys.
if Yeah, and also if you work hard in all the data pipeline, you work hard in all the customer or stakeholder approvals, but then
Yeah.
you present this, that is slightly off margin. It will
Yeah.
be annoying for few people, and
Yep.
then it will create a pain in the eye to differ. I feel like when those kind of things happen, it's quite easily to lose the attention because you
Yeah.
focus
No.
so much
100%.
in that error.
Yeah.
Same with the contrast, white
Hmm.
spatial, white spaces,
Hmm.
and readable topography. Have you seen graph or dashboard or visualization that has a tiny, or when someone does a PowerPoint and then
Yeah.
you see full of text and you cannot even read it?
Yeah.
So
Or using Gothic or any other font
yes,
style, which is like,
which makes
okay.
really hard
Yeah.
to read. Unless that you're doing a Halloween
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
PowerPoint, then
Unless
you
it's
use
a
a
theme.
Gothic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Try to keep it clean and try to keep it simple. I think
yeah.
go with the standard fonts. Maybe, yeah, Calibri is one of the best. I usually stick with Calibri,
Yeah,
unless
for
I'm
me,
yeah, unless I'm designing something on theme.
nowadays it's getting quite popular. Aptos
Hmm.
in
Yes,
the I
Aptos is another one.
yeah in yeah, but that is quite specific. And the last important item for the storytelling with data, which is number 6,
Hmm.
is tell a story. Tell a story is a whole journey. I've been part from Toastmaster for a while, and this is something that I've been using it together with data.
Yeah.
So normally you start to show the hook. It's
Hmm.
like how you catch the attention from the people from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then you have, as same as when you create a story, you have the introduction, sometimes the conflict,
Hmm.
the resolution, and the conclusion. So those 4 elements, it's quite hard to see how you can put it in a dashboard, but at the same time you can find a way to do it. The introduction
So
is your header,
hook.
your yeah,
So first is the hook,
yeah.
and then second we have.
I don't have the kind of like those the elements that we need, but sorry, in the
There are
in the
four
story
you
in
mentioned.
the
Yeah.
storytelling, we have the introduction
Hmm.
from where you can introduce the hook,
Yeah.
but this is the introduction.
Hmm.
Then the conflict,
Conflict. Right.
the resolution
Yeah.
of the
And then
conflict,
conclusion.
and then the conclusion. It's like
Nice.
there used to be Rapunzel who have the long hair, and
Yeah. Yeah.
then that's the introduction, and then
Mm.
we have, but the problem that she was locked down in a tower. That's the
Yeah.
conflict,
Yeah.
and the resolution is that the prince goes and rescue her.
It rescues her.
That's
Yep.
that's the resolution, and the conclusion they live happy ever after. So
Yeah.
that's really clear, and then
That's yeah.
how we can find that every book has something like that,
Yeah. 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 It's a
similar or either
universal
way.
theme.
Yeah, the conflict, it creates the engagement with the audience, the
Mm.
conflict, and the resolution, it creates the hope or what it will become later. But when you would create a dashboard, is how we can create the conflict. The conflict is to show the tough numbers. It's like we
Mm.
are losing customers.
Right.
However, this is the opportunity. In the resolution, we could put another graph with
Yeah.
here are the areas of the opportunity from where we could do something.
Mm.
And in the conclusion, we could put a paragraph. If we center on this kind of initiative, we could create something for the future.
Mm.
Even though that we saw those dropping down elements,
Yeah.
we could get to it. So One thing that I love in data visualization is the reports.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the reports are Excel sheet that get distributed everywhere,
Yeah.
but I like the kind of reports that you can put a sort of like a context paragraph, then you
Hmm.
put a graph, and then you could put a resolution, and then you can put a conclusion. And nowadays, for example, Power BI or other technologies, it
Mm-hmm.
can help you to create this. You create this context, this paragraph,
Yeah.
and then you can make a change
Yeah. Yeah.
with some variation. So coming back, so we have the six element needed for storytelling with data. The first one is to understand the context. The
Mm-hmm.
second is to find the appropriate visualization. The third one is to eliminate the clutter. The fourth is draw attention where you want it, highlight where it's needed. Fifth is to think like a designer. And sixth is tell us the story. All
Tell a
right.
story. Yeah.
With those six elements, you will be able to succeed in your data visualization. And as you just mentioned when we started, this is an art,
Hmm.
and which means that it requires practice.
Yeah.
And the more that you practice, better that you get. And there's so much documentation. I'm a part of database organization, which is an international association. And I will give you the website because if you are really interested on data
Yeah.
visualization society.org
Mm-hmm.
is an international entity from where you can find free events you can be member of, and also you can get mentoring, be a mentor. I be mentor twice in that
Right.
society, and has been really highlight. I've been helping people who are web developers who would like to know more about data visualization. You think that why web developers need to show data visualization? And the thing is, like, for example, have you seen that certain CRMs or certain web tools, they are really poor in the reporting tools,
Yeah.
or the visuals are quite doesn't fulfill what you need? And that is
Yeah.
the importance to start to train people who are web developers
Hmm.
to become more precise
Storytellers.
with the
Yeah.
storytellers. So we went through, as I mentioned to you, I have two mentees, and we went through really cool exercises, and I helped them to produce and bring back the data mindset or storytelling with data mindset. So both of them,
Nice.
I recommend them the same path, the same book,
Yeah.
and I hope they learn quite a bit. But this is the important of as a data, you
Mm-hmm.
can go right away to data engineering, which is will be most of the time transforming data.
Yeah.
Then you can go to data analytics, which is something that it will tend to change within the time. I
Hmm.
hear a lot of that is a lot of tendency that it will be a self-serve insights, which
Mm-hmm.
means that we are not far away to just to have all your data connected to something like a chat GPT,
Yeah.
and then you can ask about the sales from last year, and they will be able to create a graph for you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is about to come. It's
Hmm.
already here,
It's
and
already
so
here, I think. Yeah.
data analytics it will be sort of it will need to be evolved to create dashboard that it will be more meaningful. And I think it's the same way. I don't know if you use Claude to create visualization or graphics. They are good, but they are not answering you the question sometimes.
Yeah.
Or probably we're not that good in the prompts. That it will be tend to be better. But
Mm-hmm.
is that the space for data visualization or data analytics? It will be in these spaces to create something unique.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to be part of this journey of creating better insights, better dashboard, it will be still a lot of required. There are certain roles in certain companies. In certain companies, I say, because not many companies have those kind of roles. There are certain people who are data visualization specialists, which are only work in this specific area. And
Yeah.
they can be people from marketing, from UX design, or different kind of experiences. So there is a space for data visualization. It's super niche market,
Yeah.
but if you really love it, you can
Yeah.
even work in a magazine from where you need to show how many tortoise has been dying in the ocean, and then you create this visualization with tortoise in the graph. Have you seen those kind of
Yeah.
visualization?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is for example, how many cars, what is the most popular car within the years, and you can see those visualization that the cars move around and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
that is
Correct.
another space for data visualization, and it requires a lot of marketing, but it's also is a really good pay role. However, I think it could be more popular in the US, because
Yeah.
here where we are one role needs to be do more stuff. So that's, I think, that is my opinion. And I think that
I think
I could cover most of the areas from data visualization. I'm not sure if you have any question or is something left in the discussion.
no, I think you've pretty much given quite a good summary of and the detailed summary of what storytelling looks like when it comes to data. And I think
Uh-huh.
it's not just with data, I feel like it's also applicable everywhere else. It is like just a generic how to tell a good story, right? It doesn't have to be with data. It doesn't have to be with graphs and line charts and pie charts and donut charts. It can be just when you tell a story to your kids, maybe. So that is like, this is what storytelling is. This is how you go about it, and the same rules apply in data as well. So when you are telling a story to your stakeholders, and I feel like visualization and data storytelling in in context of data analysis is very important, because a lot of key business decisions are impacted by how you tell your story, how you represent your data. Like the stakeholders that are sitting on the key positions, they don't have that much time to read the report, read a 30-page report, or read, spend hours in looking at the rows and numbers and then digging into the data. So I
Yeah.
think they only have a few seconds, right? And you have to tell your whole story in those few seconds, and this is where data visualization and storytelling comes into picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and few points, or those 6 points that you mentioned, they are very key in understanding how you can create impactful story with your visualizations.
There's
Like,
something
yeah.
that I missed. Something
Yeah.
I just mentioned from where we started. You remember those 6 points that I just mentioned? It could be hard to remember, but it
Hmm.
just this rule, it could be much easy for you to remember,
The
which is
330,
called
300.
300. I think that I mentioned before in this podcast, or I mentioned before to you, or probably you hear about it. That this rule means that within 3 seconds,
Hmm.
you should know right away what is this dashboard about.
Hmm.
It's like you close your eyes, you open it. I think that I mentioned to you when we were doing this
Yeah.
marketing stuff for us. It's like within 3 seconds, you should tell right about what is this is about.
Yeah.
Right away what this is about. In 30 seconds, you should be able to read something that it tells you a bit more and
Yeah.
understand what it's about, and do a quickly drill down.
Hmm.
And in 300 seconds, you should answer the main question of this problem.
Hmm.
300 seconds is about 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you should be able to find it out. What is this all about and how we answer the questions. So next time that you read a magazine, in 3 seconds you should be able to see what this is about. In
Yeah.
30 seconds you should go through the
The
headers,
text. Yeah.
and then in 300 seconds you should be able to tell everything about the story you're about to read. If
Right.
it takes you longer than that, you lost
Then
attention
it's
from the audience.
right.
And
Right.
unfortunately, even though you go through a dashboard for minutes, and you cannot understand because there are so many elements there that
Yeah.
is so hard for you. It's like I don't know if you've seen those I don't know if they call it dashboards, but for example, there used to be something called, for example, a SCADA, from
Hmm.
where all the elements from different electronic devices come to a screen.
Yeah.
All right. But I think there's another name. I can't remember it now, but it's all right. But the thing is, like, they used to put in every single space from the screen the status from one sensor. And then you ended up with 100 different charts
Hmm.
that it takes you months to get
Mm.
familiar with the screen.
Mm.
And then when you are familiar with the screen, then you can tell, all right, this one goes there, but it's so hard to read it. So it takes you weeks to understand that. So
Right.
let's create something that is meaningful and it can drive impact, as you
Mm.
just mentioned before.
Yeah. Thanks, Ramon. Also, a couple of things that I want to mention here is like when when we start designing dashboards, right, it is very easy to fall into that black hole of good visualizations and good charts, and it is
Mhm.
very easy to lose track of knowing when we have enough. And when you start putting graphs and when you start designing dashboard, um, it's very easy to go overboard and add more stuff in because it looks good, it looks cool. But it is very important to understand that less is more. And you have to know, you have to understand what your audience wants, to for whom you are designing the dashboard, and the KPI that you want to deliver, and just stick to the basic requirement of that question. You have to understand that question first. And like you said, right, that dashboards can be designed in 2 3 days. It's not a big problem. But we have to understand that it's not just about designing the dashboard. A lot of time goes into understanding why we are designing that dashboard. So,
Mhm.
the question to answer and understanding that question to answer, that's a journey in itself. That takes a lot of time. And then in 2 3 days, you can then create a dashboard that answers that question. So it's very important to understand that understanding that question will take a lot of time before you can actually start implementing and designing your dashboard, because that is a quick task. And when we talk about designing a dashboard, Ramon, one question I have for you. This is our personal preferences, but which tool do you love the most when it comes to visualization? I feel like it is Power BI because you have mentioned it a lot, but is it Power BI or is it any other tool?
Saying that Power BI is the best is quite unfair
Hmm.
because it's the one that I have more accessible, which means that where I work is the one that we use.
Yeah.
However, I have tried Tableau
Hmm.
and Google Locker as well,
Yeah. Hmm.
and feel that those two are quite good as well. I think that
Great.
Tableau is a quite special one for me because it's that something that it used to be quite popular a few years ago,
Yeah.
and then Power BI came up to the stage. We really limit kind of
Hmm.
visualization.
Hmm.
It been coming better within the years, but Tableau it was the really nice designs in
Yeah.
comparison with Power BI.
Yeah.
But then Google Locker is available for everyone to use it and publishes stuff,
Hmm.
and probably has even less visualization than Power BI, or probably
Hmm.
even more. I haven't digged too much, but then I found that Google Locker you can get to more a wider audience.
Hmm.
So if you are creating a project that you want to show to everyone, I
Yeah.
think Google Locker could be more, what can I say,
Accessible.
accessible for everyone. But
Yeah.
there's one element that I've been working a lot in the last year, which is React JS.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know React JS? React
Yeah.
JS is a
Code based.
framework,
Yeah.
web development framework from where you can create data visualization as well,
Yeah.
but that it require more technical knowledge.
Hmm.
However, I found that anything that you are not able to do it in Power BI,
Hmm.
you can do it here. But
Right.
this is also is quite tricky because it's hard to maintain it if you don't have a really technical team.
Hmm.
So that is, I use it personally because you can create amazing stuff. And
Right.
also there are other frameworks like 3GS or 3, I can't remember the name, the one for JavaScript, that it
Hmm.
has a, it's a huge library from where you can get so much visualization and so many things. So yeah, it's so much out there for you to play around.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think that Tableau was one of the biggest and the
Hmm.
best ones from the beginning. However, Power BI took a lot of position because it was acquired by the big corporates
Yeah.
and it was more flexible for everyone.
Hmm.
But then Google Locker came as a great alternative for everyone to use it right
Hmm.
away. You don't need to have any license from you to start to use it within your Google account.
Yeah.
So it's quite hard. The best one for me uh, is still Power BI because it works great in the environment from where I work.
Right.
And that is I won't say that is the best, I will say that is the one that I most use. And it's the
Hmm.
preferable one, and I can do simple thing, deploy it quite easily.
Hmm.
And it has a lot of things to get better on it. However, it's still the one that I prefer. And it has been 10 years, been 10 years in the market, Power BI.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's quite a
it's been
while.
a while for Power BI. Yeah, I think Tableau is more user or beginner friendly, I would say, right, compared to Power BI. I haven't had a
Okay.
chance to work on Google Looker.
Locker.
Yeah, but the one that I personally love is again Power BI. I have played with Power BI a lot when I was doing my internship for business intelligence developer
Hmm.
and data analyst. I was using Power BI all the time, and the graphs and like I just love what you can do with Power BI and how you can clean your data within Power BI and use DAX queries and all that. So that's good. But where do you see Microsoft Excel, or yeah, in data
Microsoft Excel.
visualization?
Yeah, Microsoft Excel can be something for you to quickly make some insights.
Yeah.
There are some people who make really advanced visualization in Excel.
Mm.
However, it's not designed for that because it's quite easy to be break.
Yeah,
Instead
yeah, yeah.
of on Power BI that you have the pain to change the colors on the background. And
Mm.
if it's someone pick it up again, can change it quite easily.
Mm.
However, in Power BI in Excel, you need to do a lot of in the background to
Yeah,
be able to create something really nice and beautiful. But
yeah.
if you want to create something quick and something quick to find yourself, for example, I have used Excel to make some pivot tables, some pivot charts to show quickly certain insights.
Oh yeah, I use it all the time for
Yeah.
my test reporting and stuff. I
Yeah.
mostly actually use Excel for reporting and visualization in my role. But because of the mere fact that Power BI is not available to everyone, I would love to use Power BI in my role, but again, it comes down to my audience and the accessibility that they have. So they have access to Excel. So I use
Hmm.
Excel for creating dashboards. And I remember one of my stakeholders in one of my projects, they told me that they didn't like the donut charts and the
Yeah.
leader lines going all the way. Um, so I feel like donut charts. So this is just something that came to my mind. Donut charts or pie charts are, especially donut charts, are okay if you have five or less. Um,
Even three. I
even
would say
three.
three.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Up to
exactly.
three is
Up
the
to
rule that
three
I
or four,
use.
that is max. If it is breaking into three or four, that is max for it. Don't go beyond that, because then data is scattered everywhere and it just doesn't look good. Yeah, so that is something that came to my mind. But yeah, for me, I think I have used Excel a lot, and I use Excel a lot for data visualization, and because of the mere fact that it is accessible by a wider audience. Yeah. But thank you
Cool.
so
All
much.
right. Yeah. Let
Yeah.
me let me do a bullet point for everyone for the takeaways.
Yes.
So just remember about your audience. Choose the right visualizations. Use what is important when everything is important, nothing is important. and create a story with your dashboard. That will be the 4 takeaways that I will give it to everyone. So if you want to find more information about that, I just mentioned to you data visualization organization and also storytelling with data from Cole, which is one of the best books that I have read about data visualization. So over to you, Arjun. Thank you for listening to us, and you can do the close up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Ramon, for the amazing session once again. Like always, we love listening to your experience and all the cool stuff that you have to share with us. Thank you so much for that. And for the audience, I hope you guys are loving the podcast. And let us know if you have any other topics that you would like us to cover. And feel free to drop them in the comments of any of those videos, or share with us on LinkedIn. Reach out to us on LinkedIn. Let us know what you're thinking about the podcast. Is it good? Is it bad? All feedbacks welcomed. And we will probably see you in the next one. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you very much, Arjun. See you later, guys. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.